It's been a while since I did this.
I
feel
know.
like I'm a little bit out of practice.
I was are you going to scream at me?
Let's see if I can do this.
Beckville!
Pickle? Hit the air. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Woo! Monday Morning Fallout!
We're back.
It's back, baby! Where we overreact to the football weekend. There is so much to overreact to. A lot. Week 1 of the Texas high school football season. Start with my 3 big thoughts. Thought number 1, this is not 2020. There's a couple of reasons that I made this my big thought. The first one is, let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, which is the cancellations, right? I think that people started seeing cancellations come down, cancellations of Texas high school football games come down over the course of last week, and they started going, oh no, here we go again. And I think we've tried to get out in front of this and let you know that there are always going to be some cancellations. There are always going to be some games that were going to be canceled because the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, right? Mm-hmm. But I also think it's important to recognize the context of this, which is last year we estimate that about 12%, there were 12% fewer Texas high school football games than there were last year or the year before, about 12%. In the UIL 11-man ranks, we were at about 4.5% cancellation. Less than 5%. Might be a little bit more, 4.5, but around 4.5%. Okay? A significant decrease from last year. Now, is 4.5% good? No. I would prefer it be 0%. I would prefer it be negative 1%. It can't be that way. I don't know how that works. But there would be...
I don't think math works that way.
I don't think that works that way either. But recognize that in that sense, it is not 2020. We are already ahead of the curve, and the fact that we are already playing this many games and we had everybody start on time is itself a victory.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. Continue to do your part. Go get vaccinated. All that jazz. But this is not 2020 in that regard. I would also say that this is not 2020 in the sense that in kind of watching Texas high school football over the weekend, I do feel like there was I think you could tell that teams had an off season.
Yes, it was a lot more confidence walking out onto the field than question marks.
I thought there was a better crispness in week 1 than there was in week 1 2020. I thought that the quality of play, which is always very good, but the quality of play I think was sharper. I think the quality of play was better. I think the quality of play was overall overall a step forward.
I was going to say.
And that to me represents a big leap from last year.
I think too, from just a perspective of me like walking out onto a sideline to cover a game, I was able to focus a lot more on the actual play in week 1 than I was last year trying to figure out what do you do, where can you go, who needs to have a mask on. Like it was just you were able to focus on the play a lot more too.
Most certainly. So my first big thought is that this is not 2020. Thought number 2, context matters, okay? And this is going to be something that we always struggle with in the early going simply because, look, it's early in the season, and you don't want to overreact to the first week of Texas high school football, right? It's one game. And furthermore, I think especially this year, with some challenges that we're going to face, it's important to take things in context. I'll give you an example. We were sitting here watching the Carthage and Crosby game on Thursday night. And Crosby goes up 17-0. Carthage makes this huge comeback, ends up coming back and winning. And there may be some people, crazy people, who are like, whoa, hey, Carthage really on the ropes in that one. And they were. They were. But it's important to remember the context here, which is they were apparently without a number of starting offensive linemen, and I believe they were down to their third-string running back due to COVID protocols. Those types of contexts matter.
And playing a bigger school.
That's another thing that's important in this one, is the bigger school element. Because I think we're going to roll out the 5A Division I rankings here at the back half of the show. And I think that people are going to look at that and be like, whoa, a lot of losses there. A lot of teams that were losing, right? It's true. But remember who they're playing.
Yep.
And make sure that we're not just saying not all losses and not all wins are created equal is what I'm saying. There's a context that has to go into this. That, for example, I think people may be looking at Highland Park losing to South Lake Carroll and losing pretty handily and be like, oh, man, what's wrong with Highland Park? Is this the year? And I would urge you to remember that is a top 3 6A team.
I was just going to say, the rankings of those teams play a lot in that, too. It's not just the classification, but it's the elite of that classification.
Yes, most certainly. Most certainly. And so as a result, what I would say to you is take into account the context of the game. Furthermore, let's also talk about games that were scheduled at the last second, right? Games that were scheduled at the last second. One of the games that I thought was particularly interesting was Lumberton taking on Columbus. That game was scheduled at the last second. It's a great win for Lumberton. I also don't think that necessarily I bury Columbus in that regard.
No.
Because the game was scheduled.
You don't get to prepare for that.
You're right. The game was, I think they signed that game. You don't sign games, but they agreed to that game Thursday morning, and then they played Friday night. So I think context, especially in the early going, really, really matters. Finally, thought number 3. If you come at the King. So my Twitter feed blew up on Friday night, as it often does. And it was great to see it light up.
Yes.
But there were some outside visitors to my Normally, I'm used to people coming to me and saying,
oh, he hates my team.
I don't know what you got against Hemp Hill, but normally it's that. And I love that.
Yeah.
But we had some outsiders. We had some carpetbaggers coming in. You know who it was? Californians. Because Californians wanted to make sure that their chirping was heard. And look, let's make sure we admit this. Mater Dei, the powerhouse from California, came to Duncanville and whooped up on them. There's no
that
two
game
ways
started
about
and
it.
it was over.
There were no 2 ways about it. Mater Dei took Duncanville to the woodshed. So there's 2 things here. One, hey, congratulations to Mater Dei. They're obviously an outstanding football team.
Yeah.
Great win. But they are not the same as a Duncanville. They are not the same as a North Shore. They are not the same as an El Paso America. They're not the same as a Rogers. They are a private school that can offer scholarships to kids. And in many respects, they are a bit of a California all-star team. And I don't begrudge them that. They operate within the rules of California, and they do it well. And they are a fantastic football team. I take nothing away from them. But I think that it's a little bit disingenuous to look at this and say, well, obviously, Texas high school football ain't the best. I think that's a little bit disingenuous because we're talking about different rules. Furthermore, I'd add another thing to this. My argument has never been that Texas high school football should sweep every game that they play. My position has also never been that if you put the best team in Texas against the best team in Ohio or the best team in Michigan or the best team in California or the best team in Florida or Georgia or Pennsylvania or Virginia or wherever, that the team from out of state doesn't have a chance. In fact, I think that if you were to match up the top 10 teams in Texas against the top 10 teams from elsewhere in America, Texas would probably split it. They may even lose that series. Plain and simple. But the difference, and the reason that Texas high school football is the king, is that the depth here is unmatched. That 1 through 10, maybe Texas is gonna get beat 6-4. 11 through 20, probably gonna win that series. 21 through 30, starting to get into no contest territory. That's where we're talking about this. So the depth here is what I've always said is what sets Texas high school football apart. Of course, Mater Dei is a fantastic high school football team. Of course they are.
You don't get to offer scholarships and not be a good football team.
Bishop Gorman's a fantastic high school football team. Northwestern in Florida is an awesome high school football team. IMG in Florida is an awesome high school football team. There's some, is it Steubenville? There's a team in Steubenville, Ohio that's really good. There are these brand names from across the country. Texas does not have a monopoly on great Texas high school football teams, but they do have the most of them. That's my point. So if you come at the king, you best not miss. Mater Dei didn't miss on Friday night. Congratulations to them. Still take Texas over pretty much anyone else. Texas over everyone. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker to Corpus Christi. Cal Allen running back Epi Hinojosa. Big game for the Wildcats on Friday night, and he went off. 20 carries, 313 yards, and a pair of touchdowns rushing for the Wildcats in their big win over Gregory Portland. A helmet sticker. Do you know college football is back?
College football's back.
And did you know that the UTEP Miners are 1-0?
Season.
The undefeated UTEP Miners winning the Battle of I-10 as they take down New Mexico State 30-3. Big reason why was Jacob Cowing, 5 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown receiving. A career high for Jacob Cowing. He gets a helmet sticker. And a helmet sticker. C-O-C-O-P-C-O-P-P-E-L-L. Coppell Cowboys. Wide receiver Dylan Nelson, 7 catches, 246 yards, and 3 touchdowns receiving. A helmet sticker for Monsieur Nelson. 3 teams to watch. El Paso Riverside.
Yeah.
Okay? They played El Paso High on Friday night, and I want to be clear that I think Riverside was the favorite in this game. It's a 4A over a 5A, but I do think that Riverside was the favorite in this one. But the way that they did it was awfully impressive, absolutely blowing them out. They got a huge game from running back Jose Guardado. Riverside, if you're looking for a team to dream on in El Paso to make a deep run because they're in 4A Division I, keep an eye on the Rangers of Riverside. I'm very interested to see what they do. So keep an eye on them. Clear Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Clear Falls. Talk about a debut. They looked absolutely spectacular in their season opener, taking down Pearland Dawson 31-7. They were outrageously good in this game, and I thought that their defense, most especially, really showed out. That is very impressive. Keep an eye on Clear Falls. And a team to watch, Beckville.
Yeah.
Beckville beats Joaquin in what was a fantastic game. That was down there in that Region 3 of 2A Division 1. We're always wondering who that team is going to be, who's the team. But they go and they beat Joaquin 50-39.
That was a statement.
And let me tell you, they get 251 yards and 3 touchdowns from Jacoby Williams, their running back. They threw the ball relatively effectively as well. The defense came up with key stops. Big high-scoring offense there. Beckville, keep an eye on them. Very excited about what they can do. 3 to see. It's our first full weekend of football in the state of Texas coming up here. Let's start with, I think, a game Pickle's going to be at.
I will be.
Euless Trinity at Austin Westlake. Talk about a
Tasty.
firefight,
Tasty.
a rock fight. 2 teams that are absolutely going to take sledgehammers to one another. Euless Trinity and Austin Westlake. That's going down Friday night at Schaap Stadium. Huge game in Houston.
This gets me hyped.
Texas Tech against Houston.
Welcome back.
Huge game out of the gate for 2 coaches who really need a signature win.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Wells and Dana Holgerson both need a signature win. Excited to see what goes down at NRG Stadium.
Excited to
Houston.
see Shug. Tyler Shug.
Tyler Shug.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see him. How the Texas Tech offense looks. Can the defense take a step forward? What does Houston look like? Especially, can they take that next step forward?
Do they have a
defensively?
culture in their program yet?
It's going to be very interesting to see Texas Tech and Houston. And finally, Wellington and New Deal.
Yeah.
New Deal looked very good in their opener. Wellington went across the Oklahoma border and dropped it to Duncan, I want to say. So their own one, anxious to get back on the good foot, but a fantastic small school matchup there. That is 3 to see. That is Monday Morning Fallout.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.